Hey everyone, Ryan Young, Jiu-Jitsu. Hope you're doing well. So what's the correct way to drop in to a studio? I always say the best thing to do is to call the instructor or call the academy ahead of time and just say, hey, my name is Ryan Young, and you don't know me, but I will be traveling for business into your town next week, and I wanted to see if it was okay for me to drop into a class at your place. And if you do it that way, then it's a lot different than if you just see, hey, let me check the website. Oh, they got a class. Let me just go and drop in. And the reason why I'm bringing this up to you today is because, a member just joined us, and he was talking about how he had been traveling for business, and he went and stopped in at a school and dropped in on a class. Now, I don't know if he had called ahead of time or if he just looked at the schedule and went and dropped in. My thinking is he probably did the latter, which you would think for the most part should be okay. But I would say for most schools, it's probably okay. For other schools, it's not. And the reason is you do still have some schools that think in terms of, who's this guy coming over from outside? Oh, well, he's fresh meat. Let me just go and, put some guys on him and go after him. And, this guy who dropped in, he's not a rookie. He's been around for a while. Friendly guy, went in just to train, to get some time in, get some mat time in, because, sometimes when you travel, you just need to get a workout in. And if you do jiu-jitsu, what better workout than jiu-jitsu, right? So this guy drops in, and they just go and put all the big guys with him, and guys start smashing him and start, cross-facing him and all this kind of stuff, things that are kind of aggressive. Now, of course, if you do jiu-jitsu, you should think of it as a martial art, and you should not think of it as a sport. But on the sports side, people still do play rough at times. Now, I would say that that's really an old school type mentality. Now, it's not to say that we're new school here at all, because we're kind of not. We've been around for a long time. But when you're training with people that come in from out of town, they're not looking to fight. They're just looking to get a workout in. And if you treat them as if they're looking for a fight, that just shows that you're just a bunch of dicks. And everybody talks about, dick moves and all that. And granted, where we are here at KJJ Jiu-Jitsu, there are no dick moves. You can be a dick, right? But as far as dick moves, Dave Kama always says, look, if somebody does something to you that is dirty, then let's do it again, and let us figure out how to deal with it, so the next time we come across it, we can deal with it, fine. Because you never know what your opponent's going to do. As many people have found out when they go into other academies to drop in, you don't know what to expect. You don't know what kind of culture they have or what kind of culture they don't have. You don't know if you got a bunch of meatheads in there that are just looking to beat up on you, which still happens. You got these schools that, somebody comes in, and let's say they're a bigger guy, big, strong guy, and, he's a gentle guy. He just wants to train. He's very pleasant to roll with, but people automatically think, ooh, big, strong guy, let me test myself. So they start going after this guy. And then they can say, you know what, I beat that big old, 280 pounder and all that kind of crap, right? And it's sad that people do that. So when you go and drop in, here's how you do it. First of all, ask your instructor to send an email or place a call for you. That's often a good practice. That way it's instructor to instructor, school owner, whatever. Hey, my name is Ryan Young from KJJ Jiu-Jitsu, and I have a student named John, and he's going to be traveling on business, and he was looking at your school as a possible place to go and drop in and take a class. So I just want to give a call and ask you if that's an okay thing. Do you guys allow drop-ins and all that? And then, the other instructor goes, oh, yeah, totally. Have them come in. Okay, fine. What's your drop-in fee? And, sometimes it's $100, $50, $20, $10, $5. Sometimes there is no drop-in fee, right? So whatever the drop-in fee is, if you want to go there, pay it. If you and don't gripe about it either, just go and pay it. So if he says it's $100 and you want to go and train at that facility, or that facility is the only one near you, just go and expecting to pay $100. I know it's high, But it is what it is, and that's what they want. So if that's what they want, just do it. On the other hand, if they don't charge you anything, right? Buy a t-shirt, buy a hoodie, buy a rash guard, buy something from him, right? So that you're not just being a freeloader. And that's another thing too. Some people, they're of the mentality that jiu-jitsu should be free. And that's not true, because there's a facility that you got to pay for. There's mats, there's, cleaning supplies, there's light bills, heating bills, electricity bills, all that kind of stuff. And if you're going to drop in and you're going to take a class, don't go there and be a hoser, right? Even if he says, no, don't worry about it, then just offer to buy something. Hey, let me buy a t-shirt from you. If they say, no, don't worry about it. No, really, then okay. The guy's really cool about it, and he just wants you to have a good time. On the other hand, sometimes they still want you to have a good time, but they would appreciate it if you reciprocate in some way. If you reciprocate by buying a t-shirt, rash guard, hoodie, whatever, or just like, hey, I know you're not charging me anything, but here, let me give you $20. Let me give you $25, and just because I would have paid this anyway, right? And just pay it, right? Just like you do any kind of leisure activity, nothing is free, and if it's free, it sucks, right? So if your instructor called ahead of time and your instructor gave you the all clear, then go. And remember, you're representing your instructor. So don't be a dick. Don't go and start tapping everybody left and right. And of course, you want to train and you want to be as good as you can. You want to hone your skills. But until you kind of get the vibe for the place, it's not a good idea to start just tapping everybody. The reason is because if they have a hammer and you're starting to tap all their, let's say you're a purple belt and you're tapping all their blue and their white belts, just bang, 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 bang. They're going to send in their hammer, and their hammer's going to mess you up. Or if he doesn't, you're going to have a fight on your hands. And it all could have been avoided had you just gone and kind of felt your way in there and just go, okay, just see how it goes, catch and release, right? You get the arm bar, but don't make them tap, release it, and then see what they do. If the guy says, no, man, just go a little bit, I'm trying to work to get out, then tap him, but tap him gently, right? Just go and set it up, boom, lock it. Okay, you got it, good, right? And just be a good training partner, just like how when you were the lower belt or the beginner at your school, you had training partners that were good to you. The least you can do is when you go anywhere, you be good to them as well. And the last thing we want is for you to get into a situation where you're literally fighting for your life and you just went there to train and you come out of there with a black eye, a bloody nose, bumps and bruises here and there, or worse, a joint that's gotten stretched out a little bit, or a neck that got hurt really bad. You don't want that kind of stuff. And when you're dealing with dangerous situations like we do in jiu-jitsu all the time, right? And part of the reason why jiu-jitsu gyms, academies, studios, they get to be so close and so tight with each other, it's because you're taking yourselves up to the brink of permanent damage or injury or whatever, and you're stopping right there. And you trust your opponent to do that. Now, when somebody comes in and they visit you, I would say treat them with that benefit of the doubt, but always protect yourself, because you never know what they're going to do. Some guys are just spazzy, right? And if they're spazzy, then you have to ask yourself, okay, is this guy meaning to be like this, or is he just like this? Because if he's meaning to be it, then okay, we might be looking at some trouble going on here. Or just have a little conversation. Hey, bud, yeah, that's not the way we do it over here. And I know you're, looking to spar and all that, but here, why don't you go and spar with this guy over here, right? Somebody who is, just like you and wants to spar hard. So to summarize, put a call in. If you can do it, great. If you can't, have your instructor do it, or vice versa. Make sure one of you calls in and gives a heads up. Hey, I want to know if it's okay to drop in. And okay, it is, awesome. All right, what's your drop-in fee? Okay, that's fine. All right, I want you guys doing gi or no gi, right? And just basic questions. And always bring a clean gi. And if you don't have a gi, you can always ask, do you do rentals? Don't ask, oh, can I borrow a loaner? Ask, do you rent gis out? Let the instructor tell you whether or not he'll rent it to you or just loan it to you. Because, you got to realize that a lot of these schools, this is the way that instructor makes his living. And I just got back from New York City. 2 days ago, I was in New York City. And 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 I And I paid for everything everywhere I went. Not once did I ever expect or ask, hey man, since I'm visiting, I'm from out of town, why don't you give me that t-shirt for free? No, you don't do that, right? So why would you expect a jiu-jitsu academy that you drop into should also give you for free because you're just traveling, right? Their members pay to be there. The least you could do is pay to be there that one time. Or like I said earlier, buy something. Even if it's something small, buy something. Anyway, I hope that helped you out and made it easier, or at least answer some questions when it came to how do I drop into an academy correctly. That's what I would do. That's my bit of advice. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Come see us at combatjujitsu.com. If you want to see our online curriculum, you can sign up for free for a short period of time and evaluate it, see if you like it, and I'm pretty sure you will. Otherwise, you can come to our academies. We have two, one in Dallas Fort Worth in Flower Mound, Texas, Combat Jiu-Jitsu Dallas Fort Worth, and we have one in Laguna Hills, California. That is Combat Jiu-Jitsu Irvine, California. That's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye now.